It's time for CIBL Biz Tips, bringing you actionable strategies to grow and improve your business. Prepare to become civilized.
What's up, Central Illinois? Welcome to CIBL Biz Tips, where we bring you concepts and strategies to grow your Central Illinois business. Today, we have back for session number 2, Lisa Wilson, a mortgage loan officer from Land of Lincoln Credit Union in Effingham. If you joined us in session 1, you learned about what to prepare, how to prepare if you're considering applying for a loan for a residential property, a residential loan. So, Lisa, you did a good job. But now tell us, if someone feels like all their stuff's in line and in order and they're ready to start the loan process, what is step number 2?
All right, thank you. Yep, step number 2 would be to get pre-approved. Again, the industry's changed. What a lot of people don't realize is a lot of realtors won't even start showing you properties until they know for sure what you've been pre-approved for. One, no offense, but it's kind of a waste of their time. If you can't buy a home, why should they be investing their time showing you homes? They don't get paid to do that. 2, the sellers, keep in mind it's an inconvenience for them. Every time someone comes in, to walk through their home, they have to be out of the home. It has to be tidy. So it's kind of an inconvenience just to show it to anybody that just wants to check out their home. And then 2 or 3, you don't know what your price range is. The last thing you want to do is get your hopes up on a home that you can't afford. So getting pre-approved is the next step. And the best way to do that is to talk to a loan officer. If you already have a relationship with a financial institution like Land of Lincoln Credit Union or another bank, go in, talk to their mortgage loan officer. You can call around and check rates, but what you'll find is a lot of times the rates are pretty competitive, especially in the area that you're looking at. My thinking is, sure, you can check around for rates, you can check around for closing costs. Those are definitely important. But to me, the most important thing is that you have a mortgage loan officer that you feel that's comfortable to you, and that you feel, confident that they're going to be able to walk you through the rest of the process. So when people come in here to talk to me, the first thing is I tell them we need to get an application. The application is truly the first step because it's going to tell me all your demographics, where you work. It's going to give me the information about your credit history, your bank accounts, so I can see what assets you have. Let me know if you have any money for down payment and your closing costs. You got to make sure you have money set aside to pay for those things. So fill out an application. Most institutions have it online, which makes it really easy. Otherwise, there are paper applications. But then we're going to ask for some supportive documentation to go along with those applications. That's because, unfortunately, we can't just take your word for it as far as what you tell us you make each month. Plus, I do have a lot of people that may give me their net income for the month when I actually need their gross income for the month, and that could make a huge difference. Net's after the taxes and all your benefits have come out. Gross is before all that. So if I'm basing your debt to income ratio up to gross, that's just going to give you a larger purchasing power. So, I need, what I normally need would be 30 days of pay stubs, and it has to have the year-to-date average. That way, or year-to-date total, that way I can see what you've averaged for the year. I need the last 2 years of federal tax returns with all W-2s. And again, this is consistent pretty much with all mortgage lenders. So pay stubs, tax returns, and then we need bank accounts. We need a copy of the last 2 months of all checking and savings accounts. We need the bank statements, the official ones that the banks and the institutions prepare for you. And I need all pages. If it says 1 of 4, even if page 4 is blank, I need that 4th page, because an underwriter is going to want to make sure that they are seeing everything that's been produced on that statement and that we're not hiding anything. There may be some additional things depending on information you fill out, like if you have child support coming in or out. We have to have proof of what child support you're paying or what child support you're receiving. Any kind of like retirement benefits. We have to have information on that. If you're receiving Social Security, disability, We have to have information on that. So the application is really kind of the master that helps us understand your situation and allows us to then determine what proof, what documentation we need to support what you've told us on the application. So along with those pieces in the application, that's generally what you need for pre-approval status. We'll run your credit report, make sure the credit report looks good, the credit score's good. We look at the debt to income ratio by looking at, the debt that you have on the credit report versus your gross income. And then we look at our system, look at the underwriting guidelines, and look to see, based off of your situation, what loan do you qualify for? And then really, as far as what type of loan you want, I think it's crucial for the mortgage loan officer to maybe explain to you what you qualify for, which type of loans, and then talk to you about the pros and cons of each type of loan. And then you can decide maybe which loan program is best for you. But that pre-approval is going to be able to tell you what's the maximum loan amount that I can be qualified for. But then you really want to check to see, well, what does that correlate into a mortgage payment? What's my mortgage, insurance, and taxes going to run on that maximum loan amount? Because even if you're approved for a $400,000 home, that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to pay the expense of the mortgage, insurance, and taxes on that expensive of a home. Even though your debt to income says you can't afford it, that doesn't mean you want to. So I always try to then correlate that into a monthly payment for people, and then ask them, what's your budget? What are you really comfortable with paying? And then I go with that budget, monthly budget, and then turn around and tell them approximately how much of a home they should be looking at. Because again, you don't just want to know what you're approved for, you want to know what you're comfortably able to afford and pay for each month. But that pre-approval is key. That pre-approval is then what you'll give to the realtor to say, hey, I've been pre-approved. Here's my max loan amount. This is the price range I want to look at. So then you can start looking at homes. And the good thing is once you find a home, you're immediately able to make an offer on that home. You're in position to do that because you're holding that pre-approval letter. You sign that purchase agreement or that sales contract, show them that pre-approval letter. That could be a matter of you getting accepted right away versus 2 days from now, if you have to backtrack and then, oh, well, I haven't gotten my loan pre-approval yet. I need to go back from the beginning, get my application, get the pre-approval to find out if I can get this loan. So it just gets things done for you faster. And again, the sellers know that you're serious, so they're more apt to accept that offer from you right away.
And in a perfect world, let's just say Derek is the best guy you've ever met, with having all of his paperwork together, extremely organized, has everything to you. How long does a pre-approval process typically take?
Obviously, each loan officer can be different. It probably depends on their systems they have in place. But for myself and the Land of Lincoln Credit Union, I mean, we try to turn them out within 24 to 48 hours. Gotcha. Just kind of depends on the time of the day that I get it and how busy I am. Obviously, when it's busier, it's a little bit harder. Sure. But right now, unfortunately, because things are a little bit slower in the industry, people aren't buying homes as quickly or as often as they were a couple years ago. If I get information in the morning, if I don't have a lot going on that day, I potentially could get it done that afternoon. If not, I always tell people by the next afternoon. So,
right.
And naturally, if we know that they have a home that they're interested in, and we can kind of look at their application and everything and see, okay, this is a good applicant. They have good credit, low debt. This is a potential hot prospect. Needless to say, we can turn those out a little bit faster, and we're going to do it quickly because,
sure,
it's not going to take as much legwork. Some applications, it may take a little bit of legwork and it may take a little bit more time. But for something that's that clean, good credit, not much in the way of debt on the credit report, you can turn them out pretty quickly, which makes it easier to get it done fast.
Great.
I know there's a lot of people listening who are probably like, especially if they're first time home buyers, like, wow, that's a lot of information. Why do they want to know all that information? And I can share same thing with insurance. A lot of business owners will want to, like, why does the insurance company want to come inspect my property? So you got to think, you got to put yourself in the other shoes. On the insurance side, insurance companies are betting up, potentially millions of dollars on your business to succeed, and you're not going to have a claim. Same with the mortgage industry. The bank is betting a lot of money. Let's say you're approved for a $300,000 loan. They're betting $300,000 on you that you're going to be able to pay, for that loan over the course of the, 15, 20, 30 years, however long the loan term is. They've got to know ahead of time if you can actually afford and pay that loan, because they don't want to get stuck with, a big, issue in the future. So keep that in mind if you're listening, why people want to know why banks want to know so much information about you before you actually get approved. So I know
correct.
That's probably a question.
We're trying to avoid the potential of a future foreclosure, because that is a major expense for us. The whole process, not to mention trying to sell that home. We're going to take a loss. So we're trying to prevent that from happening.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Well, I think you summed it up, what the loan application process looks like. Until next time, Central Illinois, you can follow us on social media, on Facebook and LinkedIn, mainly. If you also want to leave us a review while you're listening on whatever your favorite podcast platform is, it would be greatly appreciated. Lisa, good job. One more session left. All you listeners, y'all have been civilized. Take care.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/CIBL podcast. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It's the civilized thing to do.